Welcome back to the Blazor Server In-Depth course. This is the section Introduction to the Included Systems of Blazor Server. In this section, we're going to learn how to configure and use the dependency injection system, the logging system, the multi-layered configuration system, and Bootstrap. Now before we get started, I want to give you the homework you'll be assigned in this section. That way, you can be thinking about how you would do it and how you can get it done maybe even as we go along. In a section conclusion video, I will show you how I would complete the homework so you can compare what you did with what I did. Alright, so let's look at the assignment now. The homework is to create a Blazor site with the following: a class that is shared only inside the same instance, and that class is going to store the counter value. So you have that counter page, we want to store that in this class. And this class is going to be shared inside the same instance, meaning when you go off the page and come back, that counter value should still be the same value. Right now it wipes it out every time. But it should not be the same value as a different copy of the same page. Alright? So that's going to be a little tricky there. And then also, that counter class should log the counter value changes as they happen. Alright? So it's kind of a big piece right there, is create a class that's shared only inside the same instance, and then that class is going to store the counter value for our counter, so we can keep that counter value running even between page changes. And then that also that we're going to log those changes to the counter. So that's one. The next one is a weather forecast with the number of days specified in the app-settings.json file. So that's one of our configuration files. So in there, we're going to say, okay, I want a 10-day forecast. And it's going to show on the forecast page all 10 days instead of just 5 days like normal. And if you change that file, it's going to change the number of days it shows. And finally, for the homework, I want you to make a better looking table for the weather forecast. Right now the weather forecast isn't a bad table, but let's see if you can step it up a notch or two and make it look a little better. Okay? Maybe tweak it here or there, and there's ways you can do that, and you'll see how to do that later on in this session. Alright, so that's your homework for this entire section. Alright, so as you're going, kind of be thinking about this homework in the back of your mind, how you might do it, maybe practice some things. You should be practicing after every lesson anyway. This is going to give you some encouragement to do that. And at the end, I will show you the solution for this homework. So the last video, the section conclusion, is where you'll see the homework being done for you. And you can kind of follow along and make sure that your value matches up with what I've got, or your project matches up. All right? So once you got those notes taken, you know what you want to look out for and keep an eye out for, then move on to the next lesson in this section.